Ah, yes. Happy birth. Okay, hello! Welcome back to Grace's Book Place. I'm Grace and this is my book place. Today I thought I would share with you my Christmas/birthday haul. My birthday is on Christmas Day, so yeah, some of these books are for my birthday, some are for Christmas. If I tried really hard, I could remember which were for which, but I also can't be bothered, so I'm just throwing them all together. Overall, for both Christmas and birthday, I got collectively 20 new books, which is amazing. And I also got some like Amazon vouchers and stuff like that I may use for books in the future, but I'm holding on to them for a while, so I'll come back to you with an update if that happens. I'm just gonna start going through the books that I got. Awesome. First book that I got was James Acaster's Classic Scrapes. This is technically a duplicate, which sounds weird, it's not Pokemon cards. I already owned this one, however, both myself and my husband Caleb love James Acaster, so he might nick this copy and keep it for himself. Anyway, I've read this, it was good fun. The second book that I got is another James Acaster. It's Perfect Sound Whatever by James Acaster. I actually have listened to some episodes of the podcast that goes along with this, where he gets other comedians on to talk about specific albums so they can debate basically whether 2016 is the best year for music, which James Acaster 100% believes is true. I'm very excited to read this one, and I know that Caleb is as well, because obviously out of the two of us, he's the music buff. He runs a music YouTube channel and all of that stuff, so we're both very interested in this one. The next book I have to show you is Amari and the Night Brothers. Look how pretty. I don't know if it shows well on camera, but these are sprayed edges and they're like silver and sparkly. They're so nice. It's such a pretty book. I love a hardback, as we know. Look, it's all sparkly. I've been wanting to read this for a while. It's definitely been like something I've seen around quite a lot. It's like one of the most popular middle grades, I think, for a while, or at least it seems that way from my limited knowledge of middle grade. I think the premise is that Amari's brother goes missing, and no one's really talking about it or trying to find him. And then she finds a suitcase or something like that has information about a secret magic organization, and she gets involved with that. And so it's like sort of her getting involved in this world of magic and supernatural stuff. And I guess also, you know, trying to find her brother and find out what happened to him. I very recently did Believathon, and I did a whole month of reading middle grade, and I had a really great time. So I am actually making it one of my goals this year to read a lot more middle grade, because I am definitely the type of person who would really enjoy this. The next books that I got, and I'm talking about them together because they are part of the series. So I got The Silence of the Girls by Pat Barker, which I have actually started. I have already tabbed a couple of times. I'm only like 30 pages in, so as anyone who's been watching my videos will know, Circe is one of my favourite books, and obviously that's a Greek myth retelling, and I'm a big fan of those, and we're big Greek myth nerds in this household because Caleb is like obsessed with Greek mythology and ancient Greece and all of that stuff. This will be an exciting one. I'm a big fan of retellings that sort of put a lot more focus on the women in these stories, because obviously a lot of these stories are centered around the male gaze, the male view, the point, you know, whatever. So this is a really interesting one. It's from the perspective of Briseis. I don't know how you say her name. It's all about Achilles and Agamemnon during the Battle of Troy, but it's like her perspective as she's taken captive. She's like a prize, a war prize or whatever, and so it's like her view, I guess, from inside the camp, the Greek camp at Troy, and like some kind of glimpse from her perspective of these two great men. I'm enjoying it so far. It's already hard-hitting and difficult, and I'm sure it will be upsetting in many ways, but I'm very excited to see what the overall take is. On the back, it doesn't have like a full synopsis or blurb, but it says, "Great Achilles, brilliant Achilles, shining Achilles, godlike Achilles. How the epithets pile up. We never called him any of those things. We called him the Butcher." I'm here for that, so cool. And in the same vein, I was also bought The Women of Troy. My mum bought me both of these books together. I wasn't aware that The Silence of the Girls was going to be, I think it's a trilogy and the third book comes out this year, I could be wrong. But yeah, she also bought me the second book, which again has nothing on the back except for praise for the first book. And I don't really want to read too much in case this is a direct follow-on. Like, I'm not sure if this is a series as in like it's from different people's perspectives and it's new stories but it's in the same world, or if it's a continuation. So I mean, there's a full thing in here, but I'm not going to read it just in case. I would rather go in blind for that. I'm loving the end pages for these and like the cover design. Like, they're really nice. They look really good together. Like, putting them on the bookshelf next to each other will be satisfying. The end pages in this one is birds, and in this one it's horse heads, which is very, oh, you can't see, Godfather-esque. Obviously, also Trojan horse and all that. Hopefully we can get more Greek history retellings in the vein of Cersei, because we love Cersei. We stan Madeline Miller. The next book that I got is so dinky and adorable. I love a tiny hardback. It's The Last Bear by Hannah Gold. Michael Morpurgo said it was unforgettable, and that's exciting. There on the horizon, silhouetted against the sun, something moved. It was in the blink of an eye, so rapid she almost missed it. Something big and loping and most unexpected. It couldn't be. April blinked again. Whatever it was had gone, but she could have sworn she'd just seen a polar bear. There are no polar bears left on Bear Island. Well, there's one left. I love the idea of this. I love that it's probably going to have conversation about the environment and extinction. And like I said, I'm really excited to be getting into more middle grade, and look how shiny. This is one of the ones I was really excited about, and I love this little, like, for comparison, like Amari and the Knight Brothers is like way bigger and thicker. But yeah, I'm very excited for this one because it looks really like adorable, and it will probably be sad, but in that sort of adorable way. The next one is this really gorgeous edition of The Girl on the Train. I've never seen this edition before. I feel like everybody knows The Girl on the Train mainly for the movie. I have seen the movie. I remember nothing about it. So this will be a really fun, like, I mean, I'm assuming that, oh, look at this, Bridges. I'm assuming that the book will probably be fairly different anyway, but I am glad that I've forgotten the movie just in case, because I hope I will read this as if it's the first time I'm encountering the story at all. I definitely have been more interested recently in like thrillers and horrors and stuff, so this is definitely something I would be very interested in seeing what hype is about. The next one is, I think, is this another middle grade? It's YA. I'm really excited about it. I don't know loads about it. I know that it's a sapphic romance, and like I think enemies to lovers somewhat. Yeah, and it has conversations about cultural appropriation and things like that. I think there are trigger warnings in the front. Oh yeah, content warning. This book contains instances of racism, homophobia, bullying, and a character being outed. So be aware of that if you're looking to read this one. But I'm really excited for it. I've seen it going around a lot, so I'm really glad that I finally have it so I can get reading it. To be honest, like quite a few of the books that I will talk about after, like, you know, after this one are romances and things, because I don't read a lot of romance. It's not my main genre, and one of the things that I'm consciously trying to do along with reading more middle grade is reading more romance, because I think I do enjoy it when I read it. I just don't go out of my way to read it enough. So I'm really glad that I've got this one to kick that off. And here's one of those romances I mentioned, The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I believe that the premise of this one is that there's a wedding happening. Our main characters are the best man and the maid of honor, and at the wedding, everybody bar them gets food poisoning, because I'm sure there'll be convenient reasons for why they didn't touch the food that gave everyone food poisoning. But they hate each other, so it's enemies to lovers, and I'm a fan of enemies to lovers, so that's great. Everybody, including the bride and groom, get food poisoning, but there's this honeymoon that's all paid for, and someone has to go, otherwise it's a massive waste. So they send the best man and the maid of honor on this honeymoon holiday thing, and I'm assuming there's gonna be like fake dating and things like that because they're on they probably have like a honeymoon package and they're gonna have to pretend to be a couple, otherwise people are gonna be like, why have you got the honeymoon suite and stuff? I don't know. I'm literally just guessing. Oh yeah, forced to play loving newlyweds. I think that sounds really fun. Another one for middle grade, I got Frostheart, which is really exciting because I've seen Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin talk a lot about this one. I think I'm correct in saying that this is one of his favourite books, one of his favourite middle grades ever. I'm really excited to start this one because it looks really fun and the art's really cute. Far out in the coldest part of the monster-infested snow sea, Ash waits for his missing parents, with only his grumpy Yeti guardian for company. But when an accident reveals that Ash has amazing magical powers, he's whisked aboard the Frostheart, an explorer sleigh with a daring crew who need his help. Can they help Ash master his new powers and find his family? Epic. Hopefully this is a great read, and I'm sure it will be because I've heard great things. The next book is a book I've seen everywhere. It's How to Kill Your Family by Bella Mackie. I don't know loads about this. I love the fact that the main character's name is Grace because funny. They say you can't choose your family, but you can kill them. I have killed several people, some brutally, others calmly, and yet I currently languish in jail for a murder I did not commit. When I think about what I actually did, I feel somewhat sad that nobody will ever know about the complex operation that I undertook. Getting away with it is highly preferable, of course, but perhaps when I'm long gone, someone will open an old safe and find this confession. The public would reel. After all, almost nobody else in the world can possibly understand how someone, by the tender age of 28, can have killed 6 members of her family, and then happily carried on with the rest of her life, never to regret a thing. Yeah, I think this is, like on the cover from Jojo Moyes, it says funny, sharp, dark and twisted. I think this is supposed to be like a dark comedy, and I'm here for that. I hope it's like thrillery and funny, and I'm really intrigued, and hopefully it's really good. The next book is A Marvelous Light by Freya Mask. I love this book. I've already read it. This is the book that Caleb got me for my birthday. I love this book, and I'm not going to say too much more about it because it will be in a future video where I'll talk a lot about it. The next one is coming back to our romances. It's One Last Stop. This is a sapphic romance. It has time travel. I don't know what else to tell you to sell it to you. The blurb is really long and I don't want to read it, so I'm just going to summarize what I think it's about because I obviously haven't read this yet. A girl in, I want to say New York, gets on a train and the subway and meets another girl there, and that girl is not from round here, time-wise. Time-traveling subway car, I guess. I don't know. She's stuck on the train and she's from a different time, and I don't know what else to tell you. That should sell it. The next one is The Flat Share. I've never read a Beth O'Leary, but then I've hardly read any of the big like romance books. I don't think I've read any of the big romance books. Their friends think they're crazy, but it's the perfect solution. Leon occupies the one-bed flat while Tiffy's at work in the day, and she has the run of the place the rest of the time. But with obsessive ex-boyfriends, wrongly imprisoned brothers, and of course the fact that they still haven't met yet, it seems this flat share is more complicated than expected. That's interesting. Tiffy and Leon share a bed. Tiffy and Leon have never met. I didn't know that was the premise of this book. How much do we want to bet they like start leaving each other little notes, get to know each other through like little notes. This next one was a gift from my best friend Ali. We agreed no birthday presents this year. My birthday's Christmas Day, hers is Boxing Day, but she was a git and sent it to me anyway. She sent me this because she's already read it and she loved it, and it's a book about friendship, which is cute. Because she gave it to me because she was like, it's a book about friendship and we're friends. So that's nice. I'm pretty sure it's ace rep. Georgia has never been in love, never kissed anyone, never even had a crush. But as a fanfic-obsessed romantic, she's sure she'll find her person one day. As she starts university, Georgia makes a plan to find love. But when her actions wreak havoc among her friends, she questions why romance seems so easy for other people, yet not for her. With new terms thrown at her, asexual, aromantic, Georgia is more uncertain about her feelings than ever. Is she destined to remain loveless, or has she been looking for the wrong thing all along? I have read one, Alice Oseman, Radio Silence, and loved that. It was extremely nostalgic. It brought up a lot of feelings from my own high school experience. But I'm really excited to dive into another Oseman, and what better place to start than Loveless? Thanks, Ali. And the next one is The Hating Game. And I'm really glad that I got this one for Christmas/birthday, I can't remember which. But I'm really glad that I got this one because obviously the show has just come out and I don't love watching shows before I've read the books if there's a book to be read. So I'm going to try and read this one really soon so I can finally watch the show and see what everyone's been talking about. I mean, I just think it's enemies to lovers, workplace, romance, good standard stuff. They hate each other, they work together, they fall in love, I'm assuming. But we're going to have a fun time going on the journey with them. The next one is another gift from my mum. The Dictionary of Lost Words. It's a chonker and a lovely hardback, and we love that. I've never heard of this one, but I'm really excited about it because it seems like something I'd really love. In 1901, the word bondmaid was discovered missing from the Oxford English Dictionary. This is the story of the girl who stole it. Motherless and irrepressibly curious, Esme spends her childhood in the scriptorium, a garden shed in Oxford where her father and a team of lexicographers are gathering words for the very first Oxford English Dictionary. Esme's place is beneath the sorting table, unseen and unheard. One day, she sees a slip containing the word bondmaid flutter to the floor unclaimed. Over time, Esme realises that some words are considered more important than others, and that words and meanings relating to women's experiences often go unrecorded. She begins to collect words for another dictionary, the Dictionary of Lost Words. It's historical fiction, it's feminist, and it's about words. Set at a time when women's voices were clamouring more than ever to be heard, it moved me greatly to think how history is skewed by those who hold power, and how important it is that novels like this redress that balance. Yes. The next book. This has been on my wish list for, I think, like 3 years. I went to meet my brother in Covent Garden one day, and when I showed up to the coffee shop we were meeting at, he was reading this. My brother's a very smart guy. He reads a lot of non-fiction, sciencey based things because he's the science nerd out of the two of us and I don't understand any of that stuff. But this looked really interesting. He has a strong interest in the environment and how we interact with nature, and I also think that's interesting and cool, so I've been wanting to read this one for a little while. I don't know if I said what it's called, so it's The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Wallaben? Wallaben? I don't know. In The Hidden Life of Trees, Peter Wallaben makes the case that the forest is a social network. He draws on groundbreaking scientific discoveries to describe how trees are like human families. Tree parents live together with their children, communicate with them, support them as they grow, share nutrients with those who are sick or struggling, and even warn each other of impending dangers. Wallaben also shares his deep love of woods and forests, explaining the amazing process of life, death, and regeneration he has observed in his woodland. A walk in the woods will never be the same again. The next book is a collection of short stories. I believe this, aside from the Grimm Tales, is the only collection of short stories I think that I own, and that's another one of my goals, is to read more short story collections because I haven't really done enough of that. My brother brought me this and I'm really excited. It's called The Haunting Season. Ghostly Tales for Long Winter Nights. I should read this soon before it gets warm and it's weird to read it. Ooh, and I think it's creepy. Winter, with its unsettling blend of the cozy and the sinister, has long been a popular time for gathering by the bright flame of a candle or the warm crackling of a fire and swapping stories of ghosts and strange happenings. Now 8 best-selling, award-winning authors, master storytellers of the sinister and the macabre, bring this time-honoured tradition to vivid life in a spellbinding collection of new and original haunted tales, taking you from a bustling Covent Garden Christmas market to the frosty moors of Yorkshire, from a country estate with a dreadful secret to a London mansion where a beautiful girl lies frozen in death. These are stories to make your hair stand on end, send shivers down your spine, and to serve as your indispensable companion to the long nights of winter. So curl up, light a candle, and fall under the spell of the haunting season. it's creepy, it's short stories, it's ticking a lot of my boxes. I'm excited equally, but like differently excited, if that makes sense. Like when people buy me stuff on my wish list, I'm extremely excited because I've been wanting to read that book specifically for a while. When people buy me things I've never heard of, I'm excited in exactly the same amount, but in a very different way of being like, oh my gosh, like this wasn't even on my radar, and like I get to dive into something without knowing anything about it. So that's on that side of the excitement. The last book that I got for my birthday / Christmas, this one was for my birthday, was Iron Widow by Zuran J. Zhao. I hope I said that right, and I'm so sorry if I didn't. This is the second book out of all of these that I have already read. It will be in a future video, much like the other one, so I don't want to say too much. But I will say I didn't love it. And that's all you need to know. I know a lot of people did love this book, so hopefully that's controversial enough to make you want to watch the video that this will be in the future, because I will explain why I didn't love it. I was so excited for it. Obviously, it's why I picked it out, because it was one of the ones I picked out in a physical bookstore when my mum was like, pick 2 books, I'll buy them for you. And this was one of my most anticipated reads of 2021, because it's sci-fi and feminist and fantasy and awesome in premise. That concludes, I've ended on a really sad note and I feel bad now, but that concludes my birthday / Christmas haul. I am so grateful for all of the books that I have received. I've got too many books as it is, but I will always want more. And all of the books I have just shown you, I've either been really excited to read for a while, or now that I know about them, I'm like extremely excited to read them immediately. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that gave you, I don't know, maybe some ideas of whether these books might be things you might want to pick up or whatever. If you want to see other books that I anticipate reading, or to get some ideas of things that you might be interested in, I have a wish list, like a link to my wish list down below. You can scroll through there and get some ideas for stuff. Like, then again, there are so many because I'm on a book buying ban, so I keep adding stuff to my wish list and nothing ever gets bought from there. I guess it can be useful to have a look through and see what I might be interested in. If you think that our tastes match up, then those are some of the books that I would like to read. Thank you so much for watching. I had a really lovely Christmas and birthday, and I hope that you had a wonderful Christmas and birthday if that happened recently too. Thank you for hanging out with me in my book place, and hopefully I will see you next time. Bye! Yeah.